Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome, my dear students. Today I'm going to show you how to use API to get data from internet and show it inside your application. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, so here is my screen. First thing, I'm going to create a new project by Android Studio, like for Flutter. So you can go to the file, a new Flutter project. Let us say I will call this application Flutter API instead of Flutter application. This one only for testing. Okay, finish. All right. So meanwhile, let us go to the internet to see how we can work on such application. All right. So if we just make API Flutter, we Google this one, we can get many search results. So this one, second one. Let us see second one, for example, feed data from the internet, Flutter development website, the official one. So if you look at here, all right. Sorry, if you look at now, take a look here. So these are the steps. Fetching data from the internet is necessary in most applications. Luckily, Dart and the Flutter provide tools such as the HTTP package. For this type of work, this recipe uses the following steps. We should now first start by adding the HTTP package, then moving the network request using the HTTP package, HTTP network request using HTTP package, then converting the response into a custom Dart object, and fetching the display or fetch and display data with the Flutter. So these are the steps. One by one, we can follow them. And after I follow these steps, I'll just copy and paste the complete example. So to show you how it works for testing, just please try to do also this example with me. You have this URL, you can open it and also test it. First step, we have to add the HTTP package. So our application can make connection to the internet. We have to install HTTP package and add it to the dependencies section in pub/spec YAML file. So let us just copy this one. We have a dependencies. I will just copy HTTP last version. Okay. So HTTP package, this one. We have to add the HTTP and the last version. Let us see last version. So this is the last version, as you can see. Copy it, and it says after you copy, you can just click on pub get. So copy this one, put in the dependencies. Where is Android Studio? This is it. Okay, this window. Terminate. All right. So this is Android Studio, and we will go now to the pub/spec file. So inside the project, now we have a pub/spec YAML. We go to the dependencies first. Control V. What we get. Okay, dependencies. Then we run pub/get to get this library inside the application. Now pub/get is running and is successfully finished. Let us now go and for the next step. We should go now to the browser. Next. I finished now this one. I should now import the HTTP package. So import, we can write this code. Okay, no problem. We will do this one after a while. We can copy and paste the whole example. This is like step by step. I will try to avoid going step by step. Second one, we have to make a network request by using this like URL. So let us now move to the second step, which is, for example, adding this one to the manifest. In your Android manifest.xml file, add the internet connection permission. I will copy internet permission connection permission to the Android Studio. So this is the Android, and this is the Android, and this is the application. Then we go for source, and the main and the Android manifest. Inside the manifest, we should put it here, for example, Control V. Now we have the permission inside the application. We put it inside the manifest, so permission is there. Let us move and do the other things. Okay, the other step. So now, second one, you have to make an HTTP network request by using this code and the future, which is called that class for working with async operations. The future object represent potential value or error that will be available at some time in the future. The HTTP response class contains the data received from a successful HTTP call. And this you can go through them and these declarations to understand about the album class. Okay, so now the important thing here, the API, this is our API. HTTP GET will use this API. Let us copy and paste this API to see what content we have inside this file, inside this API. Open a new tab, Control V, paste. So this is like an API. It's giving us album ID, it's giving us user ID. This JSON code, by the way, it has user ID and the ID and the title, all of them. User ID is integer, ID is also integer, and the other one, the title is a string. So it looks like you can say this is like a map on Dart. This map has keys. Each key has a value. So this is like key and value. That's why we are going to create like album map, and we can put everything inside this one. If we delete this number one from albums and we press enter, we can see this is like a list of albums from user from 1 until maybe 100 IT. We have 100 item, but we can make it only 1, for example, or 2 or 3 to show one of them. This is the API that we should call. It will give you this text. Okay, all right. So let us use the API, this one, to show, for example, our data. So where is the, I will go to the Google Chrome, sorry, this one. I will take the whole example. I will not explain these parts. You can read them, how it works, try to understand it. Okay, I will just take the complete example and copy and paste it to show you how it works. Copy and paste into the where is the, okay, Android Studio, Control A, this is main, Control A, delete, Control V. Let us test it now. It should be working now. We have Android added Android manifest like permission, and we have added the library. As you can see, this is a library for HTTP Dart as HTTP. We have everything like needed, the async, convert, material Dart. All these are used in this application to connect. So you can use like this code. You can use it to make your own application or your own screen. I will try, for example, now after it works, to maybe use another API just to show you another example. So you can find other examples. Try to find an API without key to not to make it simple for you. So now this is like an API key for number 1, and if we make it number 2, of course we will get something else. Let me just make it number 2. Now we will get different result. If we make it 3, same thing. How we can test this one? Always try to test it on your browser, API request. You can link, you can just make it here, test it. For example, if you make it a 3, what you should get now? You should get this text. If you make it 4, okay, so you can test the API, whatever you have here on the browser, then you go and make it on the application itself. So now we'll make it 4, and we can just run it. So JSON will be different now. We will get something different. So if we look at here, if a response.status code 200 return album.fromJSON. The from JSON will take a JSON to make JSON decode for response that we will get from the server. The body of that response will be taken to this function that we created, that was created, sorry, for us. The from JSON it is using, like, this function is working as a factory with the album to class to work to get whatever that we have as a map, because we have, as you have seen, we have like string and we have values. We can make these values dynamic because sometimes they are integer, like user ID, ID, and the other one is string. That's why we keep it dynamic, because not all of them are strings or something else. So now when we finish inside the material application, if we look at here, it is returning, it's creating like future builder using the album that we have, which has the three values. Then this is a future album that we created here, a future album. We will use the builder to build this one, and we will give a variable called the snapshot, for example, to build the result of this future request. It will just, if future snapshot dot has data, if there is a data, return a text which is snapshot data dot title. It will give you the title. So for example, title was what? If we look at here, the title is title, this one. So if we look at here, JSON title, and we have JSON ID, and we have user ID, we are getting three things, putting them inside the album. If you go to the JSON response, we look at here, we have user ID, and we have ID, we have title. So if you want to show title, we'll give this one. If you want to show ID, you'll get 4. If you want to show user ID, you'll get 1. Let me just show it to you to make it more clear for you. Let us say now I want to show ID and the user ID also. So in Android Studio, I can come here. I want to show all these data, the ID and the user ID also, plus the title. So we can write here, for example, a plus. And let us copy and paste this one. Control-C, Control-V, then Control-V. This time, title, I will make it ID. And this one, I will make it, for example, ID, user ID. Why it's not accepted? The argument integer cannot be assigned to parameter string. Okay, we have to use maybe manipulation because they are integers. So let us make them as strings, and we can maybe put a dollar sign, or dollar sign. Let me just make it in this way. It's not accepted. Okay. I think it should be accepted. Yes, now it's accepted. Dollar sign. So we are using the interpolation. It will show for us now the text and the ID, which was, let us see how much it should be. 1.4. Okay. 1.4 should be shown on the screen. Why it's 5? And let me just check, maybe we are using something else. A request, the request is 4. Okay, when we make it 4, let us see what we'll get on the browser. It will give you the ID 4, and the user ID should be 1. 4, 1 we should get. What we are showing here, snapshot.id plus user ID. So the ID plus user ID should be what? Should be 4 and 1, 41. What we are getting here is 5, because 4 plus 1 is 5. Yes, it's correct. So it was just making a plus for them. No need for the plus. I think there is no need for the plus. So we can also, for example, what we can do. Okay, we can close this one here. And we make another dollar sign. Another one here. Hopefully it works. So I think this time it works better. Okay, 4 and 1. We can put a slash in to make a new line, whatever. Let us say now you don't want to show this API, use another API. For example, currency API. So how we can do this one? We can just Google a free currency API. We'll get maybe one of this. If you want to get, for example, a news API, weather API, it's up to you. Let me say I want to use this one, free exchange whatever API IO. So if I get this one, it's explaining for me. This is like a request. It will give you this JSON bag, and you have euro and maybe a base and the date and the rates for each one of them. If you go how we can make a request, this is the request. As you can see, we can copy this one, test it on our browser first to make sure it's working. Sorry. Okay. Now maybe it doesn't copy it. Control C, Control V. Okay, the API is working correctly. If you want to make it maybe more clear for you, you can use a JSON formatter to understand better what is this? JSON formatter. So JSON formatter will show us now. Control V, the API, and press process to see how it looks like. So now it looks like this one. Now we have inside this one. Wow, it's wrong. Something wrong with this. Bug. JSON formatter. Control V. Invalid. What's invalid? This is another JSON formatter. Okay. Is it working? This one? Upload, validate, download, not this. Okay. What about this? Control V. All of them, they are asking for code. For example, they are asking for this one. We can make it Control A, Control C, and put it here. Control A, Control V. It will show you like this. Now we have this object, 3 objects. Each of them, okay. So we have a rates. It has 32 currency and the base and the date. So this is what we are going to show. For example, now we need to call the base and the date and the rates to get, for example, inside the rates, maybe we will just try to get the USD, for example, in our example, or we can just get this one, CAD. Okay, or you can use the USD, it's up to you. So let us use this API now. Okay. So we have the base and the date and the rates. Let us call them in our program to see if it's working. So where is the here? I will just use, instead of user ID, I will call, for example, what I should call rates and the base and the date. But here we have to be careful. Like the base is, as you can see, it's string. The date is also a string. Okay. So we have to get them as a strings. You can see from here, for example, where is the base? It's a string. It has double quotation, and the date also it has double quotation. It's a string. So okay, let me move this one side. All right. So now we have rates, the base, and the date. The base and date, as we said, they are string. The base, this let us say this is, I will show here the base, and this is I show a date, and here I have to make them string ID. Also I have to make it into a string because it was string. The base also it's like euro string. Then for that one, user ID, let us make it, for example, it was JSON object. Let us just make it an object for now. object. Then this JSON object was called the rates, and inside the rates we want to show, for example, the let us say CAD or USD. Okay, so now JSON will go and show USD inside the rates, but it will be an object. Okay, not a string, should be object. Then inside here we can also show, for example, now we are showing all of them, ID and okay, all of them are showing here. Let us just run it to see. Okay, that method, maybe because this one USD should be converted to string. It was an object. Okay, no such method error. The method was called on a null. Received null. It says this USD is not available. Let us see why it's not available. JSON, we have a rates, and we have inside the rates we have okay. All right, so let us now, maybe I forget just to copy the URL or API link. So where is the API link? Now first thing, we have to get the API link, Control C, put it inside the code. We have to replace this one in the get function. We have to give the API URL after testing. So this one was working, as you can see. Also, to make sure it's working 100%, we can just press enter. It's working, yes, the response is there. Otherwise, for example, page not found or something else, you can find if the link is not working or API. So let us try now to work with it. As we said earlier, we have now rates, base, and the date. These are strings, as we can see from the code. The date has double quotation, the value, and the base also double quotation, it's euro. So we want to get the base and the date and the rates. Let us go and make it. Now we have a user ID and we have an ID. The ID will make it string because we want to get, for example, let us say I want to make a string. This one for base and this one for the what do you call it? Base, and this one for the date. And this user ID I want to make it, for example, for the rates. So we have to make it here also. First one, rates. Second one, base. And the title should be, for example, date. Then this one should be object. It was JSON object. And okay. Now we have to replace the names, rates. This one should be base. And the other one should be date. Same thing also here, because if you look at here now, this is the key values. The key values we should get it here from the API itself. As you can see, we have rates and base and date should be the same thing exactly. It's capitalization small. Also rates we will use, for example, I will get a USD. This one we can show USD. It is, we should do USD in capital. So these are keys for the map. Let us get them. So now first one, it was rates, and inside this rates we have to get the USD. I will make it, for example, USD. Then for the ID, it was not ID, this one was base, and the other one was a date. Now we want to show, for example, let us say I want to show date only for testing. Then we show all of them together. Now date should be shown, yes, it's exactly. This is the date of the currency updating. And now let us maybe say I want to show the others. I want to show the snapshot dot data dot base and plus the snapshot dot data dot date, and we have what else? Date and the base, and what else we have? Let me just check. We have arrays. Arrays, it was like object. You have to make it to string, to just make it as a string for conversion. Let us see now. Okay, now we have this one. Also, you can put, for example, between them spaces or slash n. It's up to you. Maybe you put slash, double slash, plus, and you put here, for example, slash n. Why slash? Maybe the other slash. Okay. Now the slash n is working. Okay, this is dollar, maybe this is euro, and you can maybe return, I don't know, you can return each one of them. Snapshot.date in different string. If you have like create a column, inside the column return, for example, 3 ticks. Okay, return here a column, put one, you can make it in each one in different one, as you know, like inside the column you can put, for example, 2-3 text as children, put each one of them in different, this one, for making a beautiful design. I think that's it. I don't want to make the video too long for you. That's it. Please make sure to use the API for showing news about Erbil, weather, about, for example, Kurdistan region or Erbil city or whatever that you like, or till if you make it for currency exchange. Try to make beautiful design, because this one just I make it like simple design just to make it shorter, the video shorter. Thanks a lot. I hope it was a useful lecture. I will provide for you the link that I have used for this tutorial.